is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Let's go, baby.
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break.
With Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Friday, November 22nd, 2019, Season 15, Episode number 88. Welcome to another edition of The Break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about this big injury that we got to get into. We'll talk about some other injuries.
88.
Oh, 88. It is Drew
Pearson Day.
There we go.
There is a Michael Irvin shirt, right?
I would assume so.
Is there
we're going to
a
go through,
shirt?
I don't think I could come up with 15 other names of players in Cowboys history that are more deserving than him. So, yeah.
Love Drew Pearson.
Do you?
Yeah. Why wouldn't we? Okay, show 88. Go.
Thank you.
Leighton.
We're going to talk about some injuries, and then we're going to get into a little see or no. Amber has a segment for us there. We're going to get some questions, and then we want to hear from you guys. 888-855-2297 is the number. Again, 888-855-2297. We'll take some calls from you guys throughout the third segment, maybe even dip into the second segment a little bit. How's everybody doing this Friday?
Good, wonderful.
Doing great.
I'm so excited. I am so excited about this game. I cannot wait. I'm ready.
Am too.
I hate the cold, but this will be the only game that I'm actually excited for where it's a cold environment.
You're not looking forward to Chicago?
No way.
Who was talking about going to Belichick's press conference after the game?
Amber. Amber said she wants to go do that and work their locker room because she's like, I just want to see what
I said I was gonna go to the
franchise
locker
has
room.
that much success, like what it's like in their locker room, what it's like in their press conference. You know?
Spy them a little
Yeah,
bit. Just
see what's
sneak in
going
there,
on.
see what's up, and you never know what kind of info you can get from over there.
I'm not like I like going to Lambeau in the cold and Soldier Field,
Yeah, me
but
too.
it's supposed to rain all day Sunday. I'm not really looking forward to like 40 and rainy. That's like the worst combination.
Yeah, I guess it can
Not
be
cold
kinda
enough to snow, but still cold and wet, and be a good game though.
We're
But I'm looking
gonna
forward to the
be
game,
in the
though.
press box.
You're right.
I'm definitely looking forward to the game
Oh,
because I
for
think
sure.
we will learn so much about the Cowboys, I think, in this game, about both their offense and their defense, in my opinion. So I think it'll be a fun game. First, we got to talk about some injuries. Leighton Vander Esch news comes down. Garrett talks about it in his press conference. He's got a neck injury, and it sounds like it's relatively serious, in my opinion. Talk to me about what you've heard.
Doesn't sound like he's going to play in this game. Unlikely to play. They're not as worried about it being a season-ending injury, but just the fact that that's being mentioned is to the point where there is a game in like four days after this. So missing one game probably means missing two.
That's what. Yeah, Garrett kind of freaked me out today because he was like, "We don't think it's career threatening."
Right, that's the part that freaked me out,
I
too,
was
yeah.
like, "Well, that's good," but the fact that you even had to bring it up
Right.
is kind of scary.
means it was at some point a part of the conversation, I would assume, for you to bring
and
it up.
If you think back, like stingers and neck problems was part of his flip card coming out of college. It was definitely on the list of concerns.
Because wasn't that because the whole thing with the neck thing that he wears?
That's why he wears that neck roll. Yeah. I mean, it's encouraging news. It's not career threatening. It's not season ending. They don't think, but the fact that even comes up in conversation is pretty scary, and it stems back to the stinger he suffered against the Eagles, which was obviously it was severe enough to keep him out after the bye week. So 2 whole weeks to rest and recuperate, and you're still not ready, says a lot about how severe it probably was.
And the fact that they qualify it with they don't think it's season ending says to me that there's a chance that it is season ending.
And I'll go a step further than Nick. You go Bills 4 days after this game, and then a week, and so they're going to play 3 games obviously in the next 12 or whatever days it is, and it could be a tall order for him to get back for any of those.
How much does this affect the Cowboys? I know they've got some depth there. Obviously, Sean Lee steps right in. When they're in nickel, he can be one of those 2 linebackers. Joe Thomas is a guy I like a lot. I think he's a really good linebacker for them. But how does this affect them overall from the standpoint of how they play their linebackers?
Well, they don't have a big, young, athletic linebacker that can fly around to the ball. I mean, he's an all-pro as a rookie. There's only a handful of players in Cowboys history that have done that. So, you're missing that type of player. Sean Lee comes in, but he's just not the same. I mean, it's just like any of those positions we've seen when Lyle goes down, Tyron goes down, the guy's not the same. And it's not as big a drop off maybe with Joe Thomas there, but I think when you're talking about overall all the linebackers,
Joe Thomas is still not practicing today. It must be a heck of an illness. Which I mean, for us that's normal. Like flu will knock you out or a cold will knock you out for 2 or 3 days.
Speak
but
for yourself.
What?
Speak for
You're
yourself.
just super tough
I'm
guy.
good.
I don't get sick, first of all, but
Illnesses don't happen.
why you throw it off track all the time?
Oh, really? Are we really
Yes.
gonna?
just give the guy a Z-Pack.
I was gonna NFL players have access to IVs and Z-Packs and trainers and doctors whose job it is to get them back as quickly as possible. So the fact that he's been out for 3 days is telling. Having said that, the fact that we basically know Leighton's not going to play means I bet he's going to be IV'd up, and they're going to do everything they can to get him out there by Sunday afternoon, if I had to guess.
And he's the type of guy, though, when you're talking about what the Patriots do with all the screens and, that they do like to run the ball, even though they may not have a runner that's a dynamic player. James White's pretty good, and Sonny Michel's the first-round pick, so he's pretty dynamic. But I just think that, this was a game where you really want your big, fast, strong linebacker to run around there.
I'm super, super worried because, and I'm trying not to be, but I just look at all scenarios and, let's say he's out for 2 games. And then you having to use Sean Lee more. And Sean Lee, we know he's kind of fragile in a way. We all know that. And I'm just, I'm really worried of what could happen. And I love Sean Lee. He's my favorite player and all that. But imagine not having Sean Lee or Leighton. Then what happens now, especially with the linebacker group
Jalen and Joe,
that has
baby.
been having. Well,
That's what would have to happen.
And honestly,
but it's like, what are you getting from that? I mean, when you talk about a group that has already been struggling this year, I mean, the drop-off is pretty big there.
maybe we haven't seen enough of Joe to know what he's going to do in a situation where he has a ton of snaps. From what I've seen in the snaps that he's had, I think they're fine. I don't think there's a big drop-off there at all, personally. Now, what happens is, I know the Cowboys a lot this year, they like to stick with their 4-3 defense even when teams will throw 3 wide receivers at them. That's where you run into a bit of a challenge there. Is now you start thinking about, and by the way, you got a cornerback that's now out on IR, right? So now as you mix between going nickel and going your base defense, you'd have that extra defensive back, or you'd have that extra linebacker, and now both of them are getting really slim if you get in a situation where, let's say, for example, you didn't have Sean on top of not having Leighton. So that's where I start to worry, is more about the depth. I think as long as Joe Thomas is out there, I feel pretty good about what he can do at linebacker.
I'm going to choose to see this as a positive because, again, I mean, Leighton has been banged up at least since Philly, if not before that, to the point where we asked him about it last week. It was like, hey, you kind of playing through a little more than you're letting on, and he laughed. He was like, yeah, you could say that.
No idea, right?
I mean, which I get it, everybody is, and he also said nobody cares, which is also true, but I guarantee you it's limited his effectiveness. So I'd rather play healthy linebackers who are not as good than him at whatever percentage he's been at, because linebackers struggled, and I think him trying to gut through injuries has probably been part of that.
And a guy like Luke Gifford, I mean, they got other guys that they can Justin Marsh that they can kind of throw in there. I don't know if they'll be as good, but I feel like they are, in the times that we've seen them on the field, they've given you reason to be optimistic, at least, that maybe they can do a little something. So, I don't know. Again, I think the depth is the issue.
I still have in my memory that time of, what was it? Was it 2 years ago when Sean Lee and then Anthony, and then all of a sudden you couldn't figure out what to do with the defense? When you take out one of those guys, all of a sudden, the whole group is screwed up. So I think I just keep remembering those scenarios, and that's what worries me.
Let's run through a couple of these other guys that are that did not practice yesterday. Lyle Collins.
Lyle's back.
He is back today. Joe Thomas, he did not practice today. Donovan Wilson was out yesterday also with an illness. Same thing?
I don't know if it's the same thing, but he was out with an illness.
Is he back today, or?
That's a great question. I don't remember.
Well, he's been active, right?
Yeah.
With Jeff Heath?
Yeah.
He's been active?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he hasn't been inactive in a month or so. Okay. I wasn't looking for him at practice. I'm sorry. I don't remember if he's there or not.
Well, all the guys that were limited, you got Zach Martin, Connor Williams, Antoine Woods, I presume all still at least limited today, maybe a little bit more. But sounds like most of those guys are going to be ready to play this weekend, right?
It was really looking like it was going to be all hands on deck until this Leighton news kind of dropped on us.
Yeah.
So, but overall, still fairly healthy.
So let's jump to inactives, and pretty much you got your list that they've been running out most weeks. You got Joe Jackson, you got Tristan Hill. You would have Leighton Vander Esch in the instance you wanted to make Luke Gifford active. You got Brandon Knight, Devin Smith, Cedric Wilson. And then I assume, I don't know if you want Donovan Wilson in that spot. You got the other two cornerbacks, Josh Jones, Deontay Burton.
Yeah.
Who would you want to put in that final spot that you need for inactives? Or was there one of those guys that's been inactive that you think maybe needs to be active?
Jones or Wilson probably there.
Yeah, I would agree. One of those will be inactive, and then I think they would prefer to have Deontay Burton inactive. Just bringing a guy in for the first time on Wednesday and asking him to play against Tom Brady on Sunday. Maybe not.
So who's active in Anthony Brown's spot from last week? Because Anthony Brown was active.
He's off the roster now.
Right. But Burton is on the roster.
Yeah.
And so if he's inactive, then
will throw
Josh Jones.
Throw Josh Jones in there, yeah. And then
he was active last week, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. No, I'm
just trying to figure out who's the extra spot. Who are you playing?
Donovan Wilson was on this list that I threw out there, but he's been
Connor
active.
Williams.
Connor Williams was not active.
Yeah.
Connor Williams would be the guy that's
active now.
That wasn't last week. Okay.
I would like to have Brandon Knight available because of Lyle's knee. I know you have Cam Fleming, but I mean all those guys are dinged up, so it sounds
true
scary to me.
Not a bad idea.
And so if you wanted to do that, you could sit two DBs instead of one or whatever.
What does that leave you in the event you lose one of those guys?
CJ Goodwin's going to need to be your emergency guy, just like Vontel
Bryant.
I almost said perfect. Vontel Bryant.
Big difference.
Has to play receiver sometimes.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen him out there running around, and just because you don't have Cedric Wilson or.
But I also, just because I want him to play or have Brandon Knight available doesn't mean they will. I won't be surprised if he's inactive.
Yeah, I mean, those tackles have been banged up here for a few weeks, and they still have made
all of them. Yeah.
I don't think Dalton Schultz really should be active. I really don't.
You've been saying that for a little bit.
They go jumbo. They put Cam Fleming in the other day as a third tackle, and I agree. I'd rather have Brandon Knight in there. I think Brandon Knight would actually be a pretty good third tackle. Schultz doesn't play a whole lot for you. He did have a catch taken off the board last week, but I think
that's the only time I've heard his name.
Yeah, he doesn't do much.
I mean, not to be funny, but it's true. It's like you don't really see him doing anything.
No, and he doesn't provide what you want from three tight ends. You don't have this mauler of a blocker. I'd rather just have Brandon Knight go in there and check in every time with the referee saying
or Joe Looney.
Or Joe.
Either one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they'll do that, though?
Nope. Man, you always play that game. Like, do you think they'll do
Well, because I can sit here and say this is what I want to happen. Like, who cares? Who cares what I want? They're the ones that make the decisions.
Yeah, but if we just continue to just do that all the time, like, we would never have – we'd just wear blue every game. We just be like, this is what we do.
What's Dave wearing? Blue.
You are.
This is what we do.
Garrett.
We talk about things that we would do differently that we know
First
they
he plays
won't do.
Belichick,
Actually, it's Belichick.
then he plays Garrett, right?
Ask the boys on DallasCowboys.com.
Make sure you check that out later today. It's really good. All right, we're going to take our first break. We'll come back. We'll get some see or no action working. We'll do that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Whether you're into being a part of this or more into something like this, SeatGeek has the tickets to the events you love. It's the easiest way to find, buy, and sell tickets. Plus, with their Deal Score technology, they'll recommend the best seats in the house at the best value. So the next time you're craving this,
Hey, blue 20.
download the SeatGeek app and let's go. SeatGeek.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys? Jack Black. Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Ready? Okay. Give me an S. S. Give me an O. O. Give me an S. S. Give me an O. O. What's that spell?
So.
Are we gonna win?
Not if we play like we cheered.
Just okay is not okay. Whether it's cheerleaders or your wireless network, AT&T is America's best wireless network. Best network based on GWS One score September 2019.
Back to the break.
Welcome back. Second segment of the show, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. Nick, tell us something.
We usually wait for the third segment, but I'll do it now.
We're going to do a second and third.
Okay. Well, one of them is going to be the Christmas at the Star. That starts tonight here in Frisco. Join us at the Star for the Christmas Spectacular at the Star, presented by Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Family-friendly events. Should be weather permitting, but I think
weather should be good.
Weather's gonna be good.
Rain to stop. Go. We're good now. Yeah.
What was that?
Jerry said something.
What did the boss say? Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to do a read. I mean, Jerry usually doesn't mess up when we're trying to, make some money here. Even though I don't know how you make a lot of money, because it's free to come out here, the Star in Frisco. Just enjoy the Christmas at the Star Spectacular. Why do I read this every day?
Merry Christmas to you.
Why doesn't Dave read this?
Thank you, Jerry.
Why doesn't Amber read this?
I don't know. Can Dave read?
In English.
You say I don't speak English well, so.
So there you go. That's why you're reading.
Okay, that's fine. That's true. Okay.
All right, it's time for a little see or no. Amber?
All right. Well, you mentioned, we'll get into the weather later, but see or no, does the Dallas defense lock up the run game against the New England Patriots?
Lock up the run game? Yeah. I don't think the Patriots are going to be hurting them with the run a whole lot. I think that they lock it up.
Define lock it up. What does that mean?
I mean, contain it. I mean, handle it, lock it down.
Did they lock it up against the Lions? Like, does that qualify as locking it up?
Nah.
It should be a drop.
So that's why I say no.
I'm gonna say no then.
That was a worse run team and I don't want to say worse coach team, but if there's a coach I believe knows how to maximize, knows how to beat your deficiencies. The Cowboys have shown this season that there are ways to beat them in the run game, so I suspect that they're going to have some success. Now, it's all a matter of how much success.
Do we think Bo Scarborough lit them up?
No, but I think there were times in the game where they were running the ball down the Cowboys' throat, and that's my point. That's my point. So I think that there will be moments, I would suspect, unless the Cowboys figure some stuff out, there are going to be moments in this game where they're probably going to get run on.
And that's why I brought that up, is like statistically, the Lions didn't really do anything great. Right. But do you think the Cowboys played a good game? No. And it'll probably look something like that.
So it certainly wouldn't be what I would call locking it up.
No.
Right? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I know they're playing a better quarterback, but they're not playing a more athletic quarterback.
True.
We agreed on that.
Finally agreed on something.
Derek, how many years?
5.
That's good.
3.
All right. Sean Lee leads the team in tackles this week.
C.
No, Swiper McSwiperton is going to be making some tackles.
Swiper McSwiperton. I like it.
Break the tie, Derek. C or no?
C. I'm going to go with yes. I think Sean Lee will lead the team in tackles.
I'm going to go with Jalen Smith.
11 plus. 11 plus for
I like
Mr.
that.
Lee.
I like that. I saw him in the hallway yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. And I liked his attitude, his positivity.
Who are you talking about, Jalen or Sean?
Sean Lee.
Stop.
Sean Lee. Right. Anyways, he gave me a good vibe, so he's going to have a good weekend.
Got it.
And I'm excited for it. All right. Where is this other one? With the way that Dak has been playing recently, should the Cowboys start using the pass to set up the run moving forward?
C, but with the caveat of maybe not this weekend. Maybe not in this game. Because I think the Pats are susceptible to the run, and I think the conditions are going to not benefit themselves. Well, actually, on Cover 4 today, we talked about the the 17 Redskins game, which is, if you remember, at halftime, they basically told Dak, like, you're not throwing it anymore. This is a monsoon. And regardless of how much push we're getting, we're just going to put the game in Zeke's hands. And it was ugly, but they got the job done. Mm-hmm. Some, special teams and defense helped with that. Byron had a pick six. Skandrick had a blocked field goal. So, I mean, not saying they won't be able to throw the ball at all, but this, for me, is a game where you want the run game to be clicking.
Interesting you mentioned that.
Yeah, you're right. Skandrick returned it. I'm sorry.
Like 90 yards. Is that him right?
Yeah, that's actually the game there that you guys are being able to see if you're watching the show right now.
I bet we had that B-roll available because of Cover 4, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I would guess so.
So this is a game where it would be nice to be able to run the ball.
But I say no to the question. I don't think you really should ever do that. I don't think you should open up. I don't think you should start with the pass to open up the run. I don't think that's what the Cowboys do. I don't think that they'll tell you that. They say that what they do is they're going to go out there, line up, do what we do. But, when the safety comes down, then it's time to throw. If the linebackers are going to move back and watch because Amari Cooper's out there, then you run. I think that's what they do. I don't think you say, we're going to pass and hopefully we can run. They're just going to run their offense. But within the play, you know what? They don't respect Michael Gallup on the outside, so I'm going to continue to throw it to him. I just don't think it's like we're a pass team and stop us. I think they're still a run team.
Yeah.
Well, like we said yesterday, we're going to find out what Belichick thinks about that and their defense.
Now, we talked about the weather being bad and all that. If it's raining, should the Cowboys go for 2 instead of kicking for the extra point? This might change the kicking game for the Cowboys.
No. I'm going to say no to that. Not a bad thought, but this team has not been good inside the 3 or 5 yard line. They don't run it in all the time. I think that's the worst part of Dak's game right now. Is the passing within those small windows. I don't think the route running has been great down there. So I don't think it's a higher percentage on 2-point conversion. But I don't love the. I don't hate the thought.
I also, I know it's supposed to rain. I doubt it's going to be a torrential downpour for all 3 hours. I mean, you don't see that often. And then the Patriots play on turf, so it's not like the field's not going to be coming apart because of the rain. So I just let him kick.
Yeah, I may not say that as a blanket statement that every time it comes up, then you always go for it. But I do think I may take some opportunities in this game to go for 2. If it's a situation where it's really wet, then, in my opinion, even though you say that they haven't been great there, my level of confidence that my kicker's going to consistently make those in wet conditions, I think it's probably a 50-50 shot, right? So, for me, I would say there are probably some moments in the game, depending on the score and depending on the situation, where I may say, hey, here's an opportunity to go for 2. Let's do it.
Right? He hasn't kicked in that weather. Maybe last year or something. I don't think so.
It hasn't really been a rainy game like that since he's been here. So you're right. I just, you're seeing teams change their philosophies a little bit on going for 2, and I think it comes down to the fact of is there a play that we like,
right?
And also it's just not as high a percentage. It's not like it's a 99% making the extra points. So I mean, there's a lot of teams now that I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to do this. Like when you're down by 9. You're trying to make it a 7-point game with 8 minutes to go. Like, that makes no sense to me because you could really end it for you, but teams do it.
I don't get it either. Yeah. The Eagles did it. When the Eagles beat the Packers, they wound up winning the game, but
that game could have easily gone to overtime for no reason.
They were up. They scored to go up 7, and they decided to go for 2, which is great because if you get it, you're up 2 scores in the fourth quarter, but they didn't get it, and now
they're up 7.
It's that much. It's so much easier for the team to tie you. And I know, analytics people and people who get that more than I do will tell you like the numbers make sense, but I don't know, the old school, everything I know from watching football and following it my whole life, it just doesn't jive.
The numbers make sense, I think, if you're a team that can score those 2-point conversions and down there at the 2 or 3, but that's just not something we've seen from the Cowboys of scoring it. 4th and goal from the 3. I don't like that.
Quarterback draw. Every time.
Yep.
All right, Dak Prescott will get flustered by the Patriots blitz.
I don't know. People, that's a thing that people have been talking about the last couple of days. A lot of people they asked Kellen about it. They asked Amari and Dak about it. I don't think they blitz more than any other team they've played. It's just, this crazy facet of their game. I mean, I'm sure they will. Bill Belichick's going to find ways to manufacture pressure if he needs to, but I just don't think it'll be crazy compared to any other game Dak's ever played.
Yeah, I think there will be things that Dak's never seen in this game. I mean, and the one thing I keep going back to, it was the game. I'm trying to remember which game it was. It was the game where they had the 3rd and 2 that they did not convert, and they ended up losing yardage on it. And after the game, Travis Frederick was asked about it, and he said,
Minnesota.
Yeah, was that Minnesota? And he was like, yeah, they showed us something that we hadn't really seen before. And that was kind of his rationale as to why the play didn't work out. And it made me start to think, okay, well, if showing you something you hadn't seen before is a problem, good luck this weekend, because this is a team that's going to show you things that you haven't seen before. And that's where I say there are going to be moments in this game where Dak's probably going to get a little flustered at seeing something maybe he hasn't seen before. What I love about Dak is Dak's not one to get too flustered, right? Even if he sees something, like he still knows how to make things happen, even when it's kind of a situation that would probably have other people just completely out of their game.
I don't like the word flustered in that question.
Right.
Dak will probably get sacked on a 3rd down, or they'll dial up something that he's not familiar with, but he doesn't get flustered.
Yeah.
They might beat him. They'll definitely beat him.
There'll be some plays they're going to get him, but I don't think he gets flustered.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets flustered.
Do you think they should play Wilson more at safety?
No. I mean, I know it's a small sample size. I get it, but like Woods left that game and Wilson came in and they immediately took advantage of it last week, and that was Jeff Driscoll, not Tom Brady.
No, he's not. He's not ready, I don't think, and I don't know if he ever will be. It's going to be interesting even next year when you're looking at Donovan Wilson, because everyone's going to remember the interceptions and all that, and he's going to get to play at some point, but. The reason why he was drafted in the 6th round is because he doesn't have top-end speed, and that speed gets exposed at the safety position. And so, you can hate Jeff Heath all you want to, but he can run. He is a fast player. And
one of the fastest on the team.
One of the fastest on the team.
Yeah.
And I just think that Olympus makes plays, and Don Wilson makes plays, and they made plays in the preseason, but they're going to get – or he's going to get a chance. But I still think speed's going to be an issue for him.
It's funny if you think about like the way things color people's perception. And I mean, yes, Jeff Heath is better than a lot of people want to give him credit for. No, he's not the answer to the safety position. He gives up plays. He takes bad angles. All of that can be true. But, he got pushed into action against Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson as a rookie and got exposed, as you would expect. And it colored a lot of people's perceptions of him for a long time. Mm-hmm. Donovan Wilson has a great perception about him because he made plays in the preseason and hasn't really had a chance to show you otherwise. So it's just funny that, he is supposedly in a lot of people's minds like the answer to the safety problem. Whereas, I mean, if they throw him out there against Tom Brady and he gets exposed, then how are people going to feel?
Yeah.
It can be very flattering to a player or very unfair either way.
And can turn on a dime.
Absolutely.
It can be one thing one moment and immediately something happens that changes that forever, right?
But
now,
so I mean, these safeties and Cheeto had a role in it too. But like the 92-yard play against the Jets, like I can't forget about it. I know a lot of fans can't forget about it. It shouldn't happen. I don't think throwing Donovan Wilson out there is the right problem to fix it. But like I also don't think you're crazy for being concerned about the position.
Well, Darian Thompson, I think, would be the guy you'd be talking about way more before you get to Wilson. Right?
Yeah.
It's sad because I was excited about Wilson during the preseason, but
Juan
it always
Thornhill
happens.
made a fantastic play on Monday Night Football, by the way. Broke up a ball on the goal line. That might have been a touchdown. So he's playing and making plays.
Yeah.
So
he's active.
He's active. And like literally, he gets a jersey.
I love how we're just going down this path. And there's at least half of our audience that has no idea what you're talking about.
They absolutely know. They won. If you are listening to this show, you get that reference.
You sure?
Juan
Yes.
Thornhill was picked over
All right.
Tristan Hill, who doesn't play.
Thank you, Nate.
He has a hard time
I
making the meetings.
didn't need to spell that out for our loyal listeners. I promise you.
All right.
All right. Earlier this week, we talked about Tom Brady and the things he's currently doing. A lot of short passes. Now, do you think that the Cowboys defense will finally be able to stop the screen game this week?
If they can completely stop the screen/short running back game, they'll win this game. I mean, that's
They're not off to a good start though, because they did
just lose Leighton Vander Esch.
Right.
I don't trust that the Patriots have a way to consistently move the ball in chunks other than that.
Other than their defense.
No, okay, but on offense,
Yeah.
James White, Rex Burkhead, sometimes Sony Michel, like they do a lot of lifting A lot of it. I mean, I really like on the boundary, I like the Cowboys matchups in this game. Like Cheeto and Byron versus probably not Mohamed Sanu. So,
Is he out?
I don't know if he's been ruled out, but it's not looking good. So you got Philip Dorsett, who's gimpy, and then Jacoby Myers and N'Keal Harry. I don't know. That doesn't scare me. So short passes over the middle, whether it's Edelman, whether it's running backs, I think that's their bread and butter.
Now, this isn't necessarily a sí or no question, but here it is. Given the slow starts, should the Cowboys get or kick the ball if they win the coin toss?
That's a good question. I looked this stat up. The Patriots are outscoring teams 87-20 in the first quarter. They win every quarter, but they dominate. The 87-20. The Cowboys are the only quarter they don't win is the first quarter. So that being said, if I'm the Cowboys, I think I'd take the football.
I do not. I think the Patriots.
I didn't ask the question. I didn't say, "Oh, is it right?"
No. I know. I'm saying.
No, I think I would if I'm the Cowboys.
I think the Patriots and Bill Belichick are masters of the defer, and what I mean by that is getting the opportunity to get a double dip. They'll hit you with a score before the halftime, and they come back and get the ball, and they'll get another score. And that, to me, is the whole purpose why teams would defer, is because you want to be able to take advantage of that double hit. And I would not give them that opportunity. I just think in this kind of situation, I certainly would defer and hope that I get in a situation where I have the ability to get 2 scores back to back to be able to push myself ahead if I'm to come from behind, or to maybe extend my lead a little bit.
I just think there's too many variables that go into it. Like, you can have the best laid plan, and odds are it's not going to work out that way. I just think getting that possession after halftime is way too valuable. Even knowing that there's a good chance you fall behind early in this game, I'd still rather have a chance to flip the script after the break.
I just think the fact that this team needs a fast start in the best way. They need to play with the lead. I think that's one way that's going to kind of hurt the Patriots and Tom Brady if they're the team that has to kind of play from behind.
So let's flip that narrative. Let's say you take the ball first and they do what they've been doing throughout the year, which is they don't get off to a fast start. Mm-hmm. Now New England gets the ball, and they're going to get the ball at the beginning of the second half. Now you've basically lost all of that possible opportunity to be able to either get off to a fast start or be able to have that double dip at half.
Well, the thing is that you can get the ball. If you can get a couple first downs and then you punt, and then you're going to get a pick six and then score.
All right. Well, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that at the beginning.
Six.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm with you now. Yeah,
Donovan
take the ball.
When was their last pick six? And I don't mean like Jordan Lewis had a fumble for a touchdown.
Jones against the Redskins.
That game. You're right.
Byron Jones interception.
It was
17.
He gets credit for it, but it was still a tipped ball. It wasn't he didn't jump on the route or anything.
I think
the
one before that, also in the rain. Please don't tell me the last 2
Miami, Rolando McClain
in the rain.
Yeah, it's fate. It's gonna happen.
Oh my God,
Rolando McClain.
All right. Well,
Byron Jones.
Staying on topic, then, will the Cowboys win the turnover battle this week?
Final question.
No, they're not going to win that.
No.
Nothing
So
suggests
sad.
that they will.
They don't take the ball away.
But they'll get a pick six.
They're not going to win the battle.
They won't win the battle, but they'll get a pick six.
They will win the defensive points battle. They're going to get a touchdown.
Okay.
I guess I have to put that into my gut feeling now.
All right.
Interception. Cool. What are we doing? Another break?
All right. No. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and get our predictions here because the show's supposed to be over by now.
I'm going to say, I thought we were out of time.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get our predictions. Let's go around the table. I won't ask Amber first. We're going to start with Dave. Dave, you give us your prediction, and then we'll move around the table.
I can come up with a pretty good argument for why the Cowboys could win this game. The Patriots' offense is rickety and mediocre, and I think the Cowboys' defense matches up really well. We saw the Patriots give up a lot of yards and a lot of points to the number 2 offense, and now it's the number 1. I get all of that. For me, it just comes down to trust. Like, can you go on the road against a good team that doesn't make mistakes in a very, intimidating environment and play that clean and that efficiently? And nothing we've seen through 10 weeks suggests that they can. They went to Detroit. They played sloppy. They won because Detroit's not very good, and they were playing backups at important positions. They went to New York and needed 3.5 quarters before they really, got on top of a bad Giants team. They lost to the Saints. Where else have they lost to the Jets on the road? how can I in good conscience just be like, well, they haven't been this all year, but they're going to go up and do this against the best team in the league? It's totally possible. I don't think anybody's crazy for thinking it could happen. I just don't trust them. And I think the Patriots will find a way to pull it out. It'll be a really good game. I'm thinking like 24-20. Defensive-minded type of deal. I would be very, very impressed if the Cowboys run wild on them the way the Ravens did. It would be awesome. But that would be really impressive. I think turnovers will probably make the difference. Cowboys have, in 8 of 10 games, they have won. And against this defense, I could see 2. And that'll probably make the difference.
Amber.
Just like Dave, I can see it going either way. I could see the Cowboys winning this game, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to which defense can do more, and that will be what the Patriots are going to be doing. Regardless of the Cowboys limiting their own mistakes, I just don't think it will be enough for them to come out with the victory from over there.
All right.
But they lose 20-17.
All right, Nick.
28-17 Dallas. I think that they will outplay them. I'm not going to say that they're a better football team right now, but I think that the Patriots, I think, we looked at it yesterday. They haven't been faced with an offense like this. As long as the Cowboys can, it's a game where the offense can do some things. Hopefully the weather isn't too permitting there, but I think the Cowboys are going to win this game just because I've thought it for a long time. I'm not going to change. I just think they're going to win. They're going to win 28-17. They're going to be the better football team in this game. They won't have the better record when it's over, but they will be the better team. And I don't think it's going to even be. I don't think it's going to be that close. I really don't. I'm not trying to be a homer. I see this game. I think the Cowboys will outplay them in this game, and they will see. This won't be a good matchup for the Patriots. It'll be a good matchup for the Cowboys, and they win.
I hope you're right.
In a way that this could be so annoying, and obviously, I won't be annoyed. I want them to win, but if they play up to their potential, they can beat this team, and they could probably beat them by double digits if they're really firing on all cylinders. And it'll be annoying because it's like, why do you have to be playing the Patriots to play like this?
But you're right, that's the part that is so Cowboys, right? Mm-hmm. Because you think about it, and this is where I've been all week saying I'm not picking them. They're not going to let me pick. I'm not going to pick them. But then I look at it, I'm like, I've seen this story before. I've seen these games where it's like, all of the odds are against the Cowboys. There's no way anybody believes they actually will win it. And what I mean by that is just like, if you look at it logistically, there's no reason to say the Cowboys win, and then the Cowboys go on the road and they win, right? That's just kind of, I've seen this picture before. I've seen this movie. I know how it can turn out, and I think the Cowboys are good enough to be able to do it. I just don't have faith that, based on everything I've seen this year, that it actually will happen. But I think I'm more and more starting to come around to what Nick is saying.
I was about to say, are you kidding me? Derek Eagleton is about to pick the Cowboys to lose this game,
Derek
but never mind.
You know better.
And so I'm going to throw you all off and tell you I am going to pick the Patriots.
Oh!
I think it's going to be a really close game.
I feel like Derek's about to pick like the Patriot head. Like
seriously,
Corso.
he's like Lee Corso.
I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be much scoring. I think the weather's going to be such that it is just going to be a flat-out just beat down. Both teams just kind of struggling to really get much going offensively. I think it's an end score of 13-10. I think the Patriots end up pulling it out, though.
I'm going to be so mad when we're in here on Monday. Nick's over here.
We should be excited.
On the plane, he's just going to be like,
No, I'm not. But I'll tell you this. If the Cowboys win this game, I'll give you one further. I will pick Buffalo to beat the Cowboys. I promise you that. If they beat the Patriots, they're not. That's the Cowboys' way. That's why I've done this from the start.
I will say this. This is a show-me game. I will be very happy to be wrong on this one. And I honestly think it would not shock me. Like, honestly, it would not shock me if they win. Honestly, they win by 2 scores. It wouldn't shock me because I think this team, I've been saying it since training camp, I think this team has enough talent to do it. Mm-hmm. They just haven't shown it to us yet. And so I'm at a point now where I'm like, all right, show me.
Exactly.
Make me want to pick that in the future because you haven't shown me yet. Show me you can do that.
When the Cowboys win this game and they show you all
then
that
I'm
stuff,
picking Buffalo.
I'm going to write my story before I break my arm, patting myself on the back, but I will write my articles first.
Yeah.
And then pick the Bills next week to win.
All right, guys. We appreciate you joining us. We're back on Monday. We'll tell you what went right and wrong for the Cowboys. Till then, for Nick Eatman, Dave Hellman, Amber Garcia, I am Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?